Today we're going to go through a side body flow, so really find that rib to hip connection, starting as you are on your mat. And we're going to find our sit bones directly underneath us. So really think about those two bony points underneath you. Really want to sit up nice and straight. So if you need to gently push yourself up, find those sit bones and lengthen up through the spine. To think the base of your pelvis is nice and heavy on the mat. Your rib cage floating on top and the head just on top of that. Taking your gaze slightly away from the screen, lengthening the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, and take a nice wide breath in. As you exhale, really just soften and release. Feel the ribs knit together and the breath just gently flows out. Breathing in, exhale, soften, release, and let go. Starting with some mobilization of the shoulders, shrug them up towards your ears on an in-breath. Exhale, slide and glide them away. Inhale, slide them up. Exhale, slide and glide them all the way down. Good. One more. Exhale, slide and glide. We're going to take the fingertips onto the shoulders and we're going to make circles with the elbows. So breathing in as you raise them up, exhale around and down. Inhale for half a circle, exhale for half a circle. Good. Opening out through the chest, keep the spine upright and reverse it when you're ready. Coming round, back, up and down. Making those circles as wide or as small as you like to, keeping your pelvis grounded, keeping your spine nice and lengthened. And then release the fingertips to the floor, take a breath in. Exhale, rotate head and neck over to the right. Inhale back to center, exhale over to the left. Keeping chin parallel with the floor, flow one more to either side, using the breath to guide the movement round. Lovely. And come back to center. From here, we're going to do some exercises with our wrists. So take a moment to just widen the fingers, to spread them out so you can see all 10 fingers. Really try and create as much space as you can between them, and then we're going to shrink that into a fist. So taking them into like starbursts and then shrinking them into fists. Really breathing in as you open, exhale, close it all the way down, open it out again, and close it down. So we're going to work a little bit strengthening the wrists today as we're going to come into some weight bearing 4-point kneeling. And these are some lovely ones to just start warming up this space. Last one, open out, close down, and then just roll through the wrists, release the hands. You can do it any way you like, so around the same way, opposite ways, all good. Nice. And then taking one hand, we're going to place our hand onto the kind of the base of the forearm, and we're going to imagine we've got a plate sitting on your palm. So from here, you're just going to move the pinky in towards your midline. Then we're going to reach it back to center, and then the thumb out towards the outside of your body, back to center. So very subtle movement. We don't get much movement here on the wrist, and you're just working with what you have. And if you need to, you could place a ball or something very light on your hand just to make sure that it is nice and even. We're going to do one more to either side. And then you're going to do a figure 8 on its side, so more like an infinity sign, leading the pinky. So you're going to turn it down, you're going to rotate back up, around and down. So imagine, it can even help to close down the eyes, and imagine that figure 8 as you take it with the pinky. Last one. Good. And we're going to take it with the thumb. So leading with the thumb. Imagine that infinity sign or figure 8 on its side. Lead with the thumb for this last one. And we're going to do it all on the other side. So taking that wrist, supporting the forearm, kind of elbow hugging in towards the ribs. Taking it with a pinky lean in towards the center. Imagine there's a plate on that hand. So keeping it nice and flat and in line with the forearm. So instead of having it bent like that, you want it nice and in line with that forearm. You're just shifting it side to side. Good. Let's do one more in towards us and then away. And then again, those figure eights, infinity, leading with the pinky. So really finding that articulation through the wrist. And then when you've finished, leading with the thumb. Up and down, so the palm goes up towards the ceiling and down towards the floor. Really good. And then gently shake out top to bottom. And then we're going to find our way into all fours when you're ready. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Lengthen that spine out nice and long. A little bit of connection in the center just to start. You want to send those sit bones out, have a little low back dip down, just that's the natural curves of the spine. Take a moment, peek at your fingers, just make sure that you've got even spacing between them before we start. That can help with load bearing on the wrists. Breathing in, exhale, we're going to start to hinge back through the hips, sending those sit bones towards the heels as much as you can, keeping neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Inhale, bring yourself back over your wrists. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, come back. Exhale, good. And you want to find that you're even weight between the shoulders and the knees, and you want to find that everything as you're rocking back feels quite centered through your midline. One more. Roll yourself onto hands and knees. Gently take a breath in. Exhale, wheel yourself into that lovely cat position. Nice, even C shape. Hold with an in-breath. Exhale, head and tail away from one another. Coming back to center. Finding again that nice cat shape. Inhale. Exhale, head and tail away from one another. Back to nice length and neutral spine. One more when you're ready. Coming back, press the mat away, look forward, shine the heart forwards, lift up through the tailbone, come into extension. Breathe in, come back to neutral. And again, lengthen up. Come back to neutral. Good. From here, we're going to isolate through the pelvis. So you want to imagine that you have a little tail, and you want to take that tail towards the left. So we're going to wag that tail towards the left-hand side. You're going to bring it back through center, wag that tail towards the right. So we really are rolling through the pelvis here. You're shortening a little bit the sides of the waist as you tip and tilt side to side. But the visualization of having that tail can really be helpful to get the movement going through the low body. Again, keep looking in the space just slightly in front of your hands, keep pressing the mat away. And if you'd like a little bit more stretch, as you take it to the left-hand side, you're going to look towards that tail with your head and neck. Come back to center, again over on the right-hand side. Back to center, one more on either side. So we're starting to engage the side body, the obliques. We're starting to get a little bit of connection there. From here, we're going to take the hands out towards the left-hand side. Take a breath in. Exhale, wheel up through that spine, finding that cat shape. Then from here, we're going to use the rocking, and we're going to sit back onto the heels as much as you can, and you will lose that neutral pelvis, and that's absolutely fine. And then you're going to find yourself wheeling up in that cat shape and lengthening out to neutral. Breathing in. Exhale, cat. Sit back slightly on that diagonal, stretch through the arms. You might not be even weighted on your legs, but just feel how that is on the side body, especially on the left side. Lengthen to neutral. One more, find the cat. Exhale, rock back. And then come back to center, wind the spine, head and tail away, walk the hands to center and walk them over to that right hand side. Again, cat on the obliques. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, bring that C shape forward, so keep scooping up through your center before you wind head and tail away to neutral. And it should feel really nice to even out the sides. You can also notice the difference between the sides. If one side felt particularly easier or harder. And it's not about changing what is, it's more about noticing and acknowledging the differences. Good. Last one when you're ready. Sitting back, rocking forwards, lengthening out, coming all the way to child's pose when you're ready. Sit back onto your heels, forehead comes down to the floor, finding that nice elongated arms overhead, breathing into the back body. You can imagine the breath sending it wide to the backs and sides of your ribs. Look between the hands. We're coming back onto all fours. Knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Take a breath in. Press the mat away. Exhale, send that left leg out long. Inhale, we're going to lengthen and lift up into our tabletop one. Drop the toes, slide the leg back underneath. Breathing in. Exhale, right leg now. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Hip bones stay pointing towards the mat. Drop the toes, slide it back underneath. One more on either side. Good. Really feeling your center engage as you lift the leg, keeping that pelvis and spine nice and still, isolating the movement at the hip joint. Now we're going to move on with a little variation. Take your time, breathe out, send that left leg out long. As you inhale, lengthen and lift it up. We're going to cross it over the right leg. Imagine you're drawing a rainbow with your toes as you take it all the way out to the side and then all the way back to center. Draw the leg underneath and we'll go for the other side. Draw that rainbow half over the left leg, all the way out to the side of the right leg, and then back to center and draw it back in. Now we're going to do two with the left leg. So immediately drawing it up and over, and going straight from the outstretched one all the way to the cross over the leg, all the time keeping even weight between your hands and that supporting knee. Last one. Bring it back. Back in line with the hip, slide the toes underneath, and we're going for the right side. Slide it out, lengthen and lift. Cross over that left leg. Open it out, draw that rainbow with your toe, and then got two more. Good. Keep lifting through your center, keep using your breath to facilitate the movement, and we are working the side body as well as the legs and the hips and the core, and of course your balance. Then when you're ready, slide that leg back underneath. Gently sit back onto your heels, stretch the hands away. You can open out the knees a little bit wider if you'd like to. Take a breath, take a moment. Breathe into the backs and sides of your ribs. And when you're ready to, draw the hands underneath the shoulders. Slowly roll your spine up to seated. And we're going to come and lie on our side. So I'm going to come onto my left side. So you want to place your elbow underneath your shoulder. You want hip on top of hip. And you want to place the heels kind of in line with your pelvis. So we're in a kind of modified side plank already. So you can place the hand on that top hip. You want to really think you're lifting up and out of the waist. So if there's an imaginary little string pulling you up from this side, you want to really lift up and out. Take a breath here. Already you're working quite hard, which is good. And take a moment to just find that length through the spine before we start to move. Breathing in to prepare. As you exhale, we're going to raise the hips up. So we're going to bring this arm up towards the ceiling. We're going to raise the hips up, press up onto that shoulder. Breathe in, exhale. Bring the arm down, bring the hips down. So you want to think you're opening out with that arm. Raise the hips up, breathing in. Look towards the hand if you'd like to, or look straight ahead. Keep your center nice and grounded, keeping those hips stacked as you lift. Last one, breathing in, opening up. Good. And then lengthening all the way back down. We're going to do a variation on this now. We're going to breathe in, open out into that side plank. From here, we're going to scoop the arm underneath. We're going to rotate the spine, look towards the back wall, and we're going to open out again and raise the hips back down, lower the hips back down, and come back to the start. One more. Open out, raising up, rotate through, look towards the back to the start, lower the hips, lower the arm, last one. Breathe in, keep that waist lifted, relax through your jaw, and then gently lower the hips, lower the arm, push yourself up. We're going to do a little side reach as a breather, open out, hold the hand onto the ankles, and then find your way over to on the other side. Good. And then over on this side. And just let this be quite nice and free. Then when you're ready to, we're going to come up into high kneeling. So taking your weight onto the front of your knees. So I'd like you to think about your knees or your feet, and you want the weight to be evenly distributed. So you don't want to be too far forwards, but you definitely don't want to be too far back, as you'll start to engage your hamstrings. So we want to be relatively on the front of the knees. Take a breath in. Exhale, just circle the shoulders back a couple of times. We're going to breathe in, raise the arms all the way up, overhead. Keep spine and pelvis nice and neutral. Inhale, exhale, good. Inhale, exhale, and then reverse it. So going other way around, up and round, down. Breathing in for half a circle and breathing out for half a circle. Good. And then from here, we're going to stretch out the right leg, and we're going to find our way into kneeling side kick. So you want the side of your foot to be roughly parallel, but find a comfortable place for those hips. Now, if you need to, you can place a block underneath your hand if you find that you can't reach the floor. But if it's okay, we're going to raise the arms up to a T shape. Breathing in, exhale, we're going to tip to the side and find our way onto the mat. Now from here, you can either have the arm up or the arm overhead. Breathing in, we're going to raise the leg up on an exhale. Inhale, drop the toes, exhale, lift. Inhale, drop the toes, exhale, lift. Good. 3 more. And 2 more. Keep the core nice and stable. And coming to our last one. Then we're gently going to push our way up. Find that balance. Tuck the leg underneath. Arms float down. And we're going to come and do all of that lovely movement on this side. Stacking the hips up first. Elbow underneath the shoulder. Finding that balance. So hip on top of hip, shoulder on top of shoulder. And try and lift up and out of that waist. So you can place the hand onto the hip or in front of the body, wherever feels most comfortable for you. Take a breath in. Exhale, we're going to raise up into that modified side plank and then bring it back. Good. Lifting up and out of the waist. Beautiful. And really raising up. You can use the arm if you want. Raising up with the arm, look towards it, coming back. Good. And then from here, we're going to keep lifted. Follow it through, look towards the back wall, find that rotation. And then release back down, release the arm down. Raise the hips up, raise the arm up. Look towards, thread that needle through, rotate to the back side. Come through, release down, arm down, last one. Lift those hips, engage through your center. And allowing yourself to come back with control and gently repeat our lovely side reach. Reaching up and over, just release through the shoulder. Allow this to be quite nice and freeing. after a bit of strength work on the side body. Flowing your way up to high kneeling when you're ready. Allowing ourselves to repeat those arm circles before we come into that kneeling side kick. So bringing the arms up, out and around. Release the shoulders. They're doing a lot for us this session. So it's time to give them some love. Breathing in for half a circle, breathing out for half a circle. And then the other way around. Good. Keep on the front of those knees. Keep the center nice and active. Neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Then from here, I'm going to swivel around, stepping out the left leg, coming into that kneeling side kick when you're ready. Allowing yourself to set up the block if you need it. Breathe those arms up to a T. Exhale, tilt, find the floor. Reach the arm up and overhead as we inhale, prepare. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower the toes. Keeping it in line with the hip joint. Keeping that balance, pressing the floor away with that hand. And from here, we've got 2 more. And it's more about length rather than lift. Good. And last one. Push the floor away, find yourself up to that nice T shape. Drop the knee back in, arms in. And you'll be relieved, we can sit down now. Just roll those shoulders forwards, up and back. Really nice. Just take a moment there. We're going to find our way to the back of the mat. Take a moment, tuck the toes under, and we're going to roll up as we come up. So find yourself in a small squat. Push through those legs. Keep a generous bend in the knee. Articulate through the spine, bone by bone by bone. Rolling all the way up to standing. Good. Finding your way to the center of your mat now. And we're going to take our hands into a bit of a cactus shape. So we're going to have one hand in this nice cactus shape, one hand with the hand behind the base of the head. Take your feet slightly wider than hip width apart, and from here take a breath in. As you exhale, we're going to lengthen and lift as we reach up and over to that right side. So flex the spine towards the right, push that elbow down towards the floor. Breathe in to hold. Exhale, rotate back up to the center. And 2 more on that same side. Stretch and reach over to that right side. Inhale, center. And again. Good. Try and keep those hip bones pointing towards the front. And we swap the arms. So really think about that elbow reaching in towards those ribs. And it's a really good way to keep the arms nice and lifted and active, whilst also working on that side body. So feel the openness from the armpit to the hip on the right side. Good. And this is our last one. Really nice. Reach both arms up and overhead, circle them round and down, roll the shoulders. Staying with this wide-legged position, you can take it a little bit wider if you'd like to, as we're going to take a breath in. As you exhale, we're going to squat back down into a wide-legged squat. So from here, you can place the hands onto the sides of the legs on the insides, and we're going to breathe in that right arm. Exhale, we're going to lengthen and reach over to the left. Inhale, back to center, arm comes back down to the thigh, keep squatting down. Inhale, reach over to the right, good. Exhale, come back. 1 more on either side. And keep active through those legs, beautiful. And then we're going to look down towards the floor, roll up all the spine, roll through the shoulders, heel toe the feet back to hip width apart and parallel. Take your gaze away from the screen, lengthen up through the crown of the head, really feel all 10 of your toes in the mat. The heels, the arch of the foot, lengthening up through each leg, crown of the head towards the ceiling. Really feel into the standing posture. Take 2 deeper breaths in. with the intention of centering and grounding yourself. And then we're going to breathe in, raise the arms all the way up and overhead. Look towards your hands, float them down beside the body. And thank you so much for joining me on the mat today.